Call of Duty Black Ops is one of the most influential gaming franchises. It's like Halo or Minecraft. Who could forget the chokehold that Call of Duty had YouTube gaming in for years? If anything, Call of Duty helped build YouTube gaming into what it is today. Countless YouTube careers were started because of ninja defuses. Even now, Call of Duty is a massive market for gaming, both in content creation and in gaming in general. Despite that, Call of Duty is in a sort of a weird place right now. I distinctly remember a time where Call of Duty games used to come out dead on arrival. Like, as soon as the trailers for the video games would drop, they would be massively, disliked. However, recently, some of the esteem that was once lost is starting to come back. The first game in that resurgence would be Modern Warfare 2019. However, what's arguably more important than the first game in the resurgence is the second game. That second game would be Call of Duty Black Ops 5, aka Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, one of the most polarizing games in Black Ops history. Now with Black Ops 6 close at hand, I thought, wouldn't it be fun to go back and replay one of the only Black Ops games that I actually own? Well, one of two games. I also have Black Ops 3, and I'll probably make a video on that as well. I managed to snatch up Cold War a couple of days after it released, since it did release the day after my birthday, and me and this game were tight as fuck. This is the first Call of Duty game that I played where I actively tried to get the mastery camos, not only for the multiplayer, but also for the zombies as well. I spent most of my time during the quarantine grinding out camos for this game, and to this day, I still don't have the mastery camos. This is the multiplayer section. I'm not one of those snobs who give you a whole spiel about how complex a specific pixel on a specific gun affects the entire gaming experience. Let's be honest, the Call of Duty games follow a very simple formula. Sure, some games are better than others. Of course, I have my own personal favorite Call of Duty. But outside of the advanced movement of the middle chunk of games, the other boots on the ground Call of Duties like this one are practically the same. The only real difference between Call of Duty Cold War and Modern Warfare 2019 are aesthetic ones, basically. Call of Duty Cold War has the whole 80s aesthetic going on, you know? They have the neon lights, the malls, the bright colors, the whole shebang, as compared to Modern Warfare's less stylistic and more realistic aesthetic. However, the games play practically the same. Get a load of that guy. Yeah, so I was completely wrong. These two games feel extremely different, actually. I don't know what it is about Cold War. It just feels so much worse to play as compared to the other Modern Warfare games, if that makes sense. Like I allude to it in the video, Modern Warfare 2019 was released literally just 1 year before Call of Duty Cold War. They basically are the same game. However, Call of Duty Cold War feels so much worse to play, if that makes sense. It's weird because Modern Warfare 2019 and Modern Warfare 2 feel the same. They feel like they play very similarly. However, Cold War just feels so much slower in comparison. Yeah, but basically, I was wrong. I done goofed. I done freaked up. Yeah, no, they feel super fucking different. And despite that, coming back to this multiplayer after all these years, I really couldn't find myself enjoying it all that much. In 2020, I really enjoyed this game, like a lot. You know, like I said before, my lockdown was basically just spent grinding camos instead of doing my schoolwork. Yet, coming back to this game, I played for just long enough to update my feelings about it. Then I immediately deleted it and downloaded Modern Warfare 2. And I had way more fun playing Modern Warfare than I did playing Cold War, despite the fact that Cold War has way more content than MW2. The best part about the Cold War multiplayer is the unique weapons that you can use. Specifically the melee weapons. The melee weapons in this game were amazing. They reminded me of like the DLC weapons from Black Ops 3, you know, all the melee weapons that game had. Just how like creative they got by the end of its life cycle. That's one thing that I can say that I really enjoyed about Call of Duty Cold War.
Alright, this is the story section.
The campaign of this game is kind of like the little engine that could. I honestly find it amazing that the campaign got made, considering that this game was developed during a global lockdown. Overall, the campaign's alright though. Now, I'm sure that there are people who will say that this was one of the worst Call of Duty campaigns, but I personally really enjoyed it. I really like the fact that the clues are laid out for you before the truth about Bell comes out, although I think that some of them are a little on the nose. Like, I find it a little weird that, like, every interaction you have with Park, you can be like, hey, don't I know you from somewhere? And she's constantly like, no, you don't know me at all. That is like, meh, this is a little mid, but everything else is really cool though. I love how Adler is subtly suspicious of you. Like, if you look at him at the right times, he's watching you and constantly saying the code phrase to ensure that your programming has gone through. I think it's pretty cool. It's not like the greatest twist in storytelling or anything, but it's something that I didn't expect from the Call of Duty campaign. Because of the lockdown, the campaign is told primarily using dialogue. Outside of one or two major cutscenes, the story is more like a visual novel. It's like Class of '09, just less funny and with better graphics. In these little vignettes, a lot of pretty cute character moments happen. I'm personally partial towards the little flirty thing happening between Lazar and Park. However, everybody has their little moments. Wurtz is still bitter over not being able to kill Castro. Adler tells you how he got his scar. And Sims, he's just a little guy. He's just a little buddy. And I love him. Now, the campaign is known for two main reasons. It's known for being one of the shortest COD campaigns and having one of the best campaign missions. I don't think it's controversial to say that Desperate Measures is one of the best COD missions. I mean, there's not much that tops it. Unlike most COD missions that are totally linear, Desperate Measures has a plethora of different ways that you can go about your objective. I think if you speed run the entire campaign, it will probably take more time than going through every route in Desperate Measures. The best part of the mission for me is the fact that there isn't too much spectacle to it. Sure, there's a big shootout in the end, but most of the mission is just espionage, which is how most of the Cold War was fought. I think this is one of the best Call of Duty campaigns. The only thing that really holds it back for me is the fact that it's so short, and that is once again understandable given the state of the world at the time. I think it's incredibly impressive despite all the shortcomings. My favorite part of every Call of Duty is the zombies mode. When I was a kid, me and my cousins used to stay up all night playing zombies, specifically on Black Ops 2, 3, and World at War. Despite my love for the game mode, I never actually bought any of the DLC maps. The only ones that I have are Zombies Chronicles, but I got those for free. This is because of the fact that, like, at my oldest, I was, I think, 12, and then I stopped buying Call of Duty games, so. Well, this is a dilemma that I didn't have because Cold War is the first Call of Duty that had free DLC zombie maps. And I'm no longer 12. The game launched with Die Maschine, and over its life cycle added Firebase Z, Outbreak, Maratoten, and Forsaken. And I will be ranking them all from my least favorite to my favorite right now. But first we have some general housekeeping to do though. Cold War basically revamped how zombies worked by adding a new system of viable items. These items would be different from the guns on the wall and the perks that you can buy. I think the salvage system is pretty good, but I also think that it makes the game a little too easy. With the salvage that you pick up, you can buy grenades, stems, armors, and extra lives. This plus the base game perks makes Call of Duty Cold War one of the easiest zombies games. Now, I've never been personally really good at zombies. Like, I can barely get to round 10 on Black Ops 3 solo. However, in Cold War, I can easily get to round 50 by myself. Usually, most of my games end with me quitting because I'm bored. Despite that, I do like the fact that this zombies is a lot more beginner friendly, and it could be because of the fact that, for the most part, I still have the skill level of a beginner. I don't usually do Easter eggs. I'm not good at the game. It's just easier for me to digest. However, I also understand how this can be upsetting to some of the better zombies players. None of the maps on this game cater towards a veteran experience. It's all basically on easy mode. If you're really good at zombies, Cold War isn't a challenge. Hell, I'm not good at zombies and Cold War isn't a challenge for me. Despite that, I love this zombies mode, and it is the only reason why Cold War has stayed on my PlayStation for so long.
I'm gonna rank the maps now.
Coming in at dead last is Firebase Z. God, I fucking hate this map. I honestly don't know if people like this map or not, but I can't stand it. Yes, it is harder than D Machina, but that's just barely. The Easter egg isn't all that exciting, and it's topped off by one of the worst boss fights in zombies history. The Wonder Weapon is really cool, but it's also basically just a ray gun Mark III. But most of the time when I play the map, I don't even get the Wonder Weapon because it's so fucking stupid that I quit immediately. Firebase Z is just boring to me, and that's why I'm putting it in last place. I would honestly rather play Transit. And I said that with a dead fucking face, too. It comes in last place. Fuck this map. Moving on. I know some people might not count Outbreak as a map, but who cares? It's my fucking list. I do what I want. Fuck you. Outbreak is like only marginally better than Firebase Z. It's not very far up from the last entry. Outbreak is more boring than Firebase Z, but also I would rather play Outbreak than Firebase Z. Now, I get what they were going for when they created like Outbreak as a mode, but I honestly think that the whole Outbreak experience was a flop. And Modern Warfare 3 was definitely a big nail in that flop coffin. Now, I'm not entirely sure if Outbreak is going to come back for Black Ops 6, but if it does, hopefully they find a way to make it, a little better. Don't ask me how to do that, though. I don't know. I don't like Outbreak. I have no notes or suggestions. Just do it better next time. All the other Outbreaks, like Outbreak Survival, they're all also really mid, so they get thrown under the Outbreak umbrella term, and that gets 4th place. See, this is where like the really big leap happens. I actually really liked Forsaken when it came out, and I still do. I don't particularly like reused assets from the multiplayer campaign. It just seems kind of lazy to me, but I also don't develop games, so who am I to say anything? But despite that, I think the Zombies mode uses the America set the best out of the 3 modes that it appears in. It's a much better map than Firebase Z. Fuck Firebase Z. Most of my praise for this map comes honestly from the boss fight and its Wonder Weapon. The Crystal Axe fucks. Just full stop. It just fucks. Honestly, it's one of the best Wonder Weapons in the game. Both its melee mode and its gun mode eat. And the map is capped off by the best boss fight in the game. I mean, come on. You don't really get better than that. Now, I don't know like the story ramifications for the Easter egg, but
I shoot the big gun.
3rd place. D Machine is honestly one of the best launch maps in Call of Duty history. Now, it is a complete reimagining of the first ever Zombies map, Nocturne and Toten. It's a great introduction to the new direction that the Zombies mode is going in. Now, despite the inherent easiness of the game, D Machina is one of my favorite Zombies maps. The Pack-a-Punch quest is easy, the Wonder Weapon quest is easy, and the main Easter egg is also pretty easy. The only notes that I have is the fact that it's just too easy. If there was 1 or 2 main steps to setting up the map that was really hard and the rest was easy, that would be something different. If getting Pack-a-Punch was one of those things that's like 20 steps, while getting the Wonder Weapon was something a little easier, that would kind of make it a little more balanced. Right now, the map is just way too easy. And I say right now, but that's just how the map is going to be for the rest of eternity. It is one of the easiest maps. Out of all the maps on this list, I think I've spent probably the most time playing D Machina, which probably says a lot about me. But don't worry, I'm trying to offset that by beating Bloodborne. And God, it's really not going well for me. I think D Machina is one of the best launch maps, and it's one of my favorites, and that's why it's earned its spot in number 2. Not only is Mauer de Toten my favorite map in Cold War Zombies, I think it might be my favorite map in Call of Duty Zombies. Now, keep in mind, I am not like a zombie super fan. I've never played like Call of the Dead or Mob of the Dead or any of those like really famous maps. I'm a casual and I like Mauer de Toten. Mauer de Toten is, in my opinion, the most fun out of all of the maps in the game. The Wonder Weapon might not be my favorite of the game, but it definitely has a second place spot easy. I also love how different it is when it comes to its variant system. Sure, it doesn't take much skill to use, but
I shoot the big gun.
This map also has a pretty cool Easter egg, and it's definitely the best map in the game. Overall, Call of Duty Cold War is a pretty good game. That's all I can really say about it. There's definitely a better Call of Duty, but there's also always a better version of something. I have had my fun with Call of Duty Cold War, but right now, at this moment in my life, it's really not my favorite. Like I said earlier in the video, I deleted the game off of my PlayStation. The only reason it's on there now is so that I can get the footage for this video. And I'm sure once I get that, I'll delete it again. I will always love this game because it did help me get through the pandemic. And when people were hating on this game, I was a staunch supporter of it. And that always will live in my heart. But it's not my favorite Call of Duty. It's not my favorite recent Call of Duty, and it's not my favorite Black Ops game. So it's just kind of mid. If I could give it a number score, I would probably give it like a 6 or a 5.5, I guess. It's really just, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just nice. I hope that you like this video. I'm sorry that it took so long. I've been like planning this video for a while. It took so long because I was on vacation. I went back home over the summer and I was there for like 2 months. And I worked on the Star Wars video, but then like directly after that, I couldn't really work on any more videos since I was, vacationing. But now I'm back. I don't have like a set schedule of videos that I'm going to be releasing, but this one will be coming out when it comes out. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had quite some fun going back and revisiting the old Call of Duty games, but I am going to go get some sleep, so I will catch you all in the next one.